you can hear Anna. Clap twice if you can hear Anna. Clap 3 times if you can hear me. Clap 4 times if you're still talking. All right, you all can return to your seats, or if you want to sit with your division directors, you can. We're getting ready to get into the educational session of the training, so you will, if you need to take notes, which I strongly recommend, you'll want to do so. I have been tasked with the wonderful opportunity to teach you all about what the roles and responsibilities are as an area director. And this is a very important task, because if I don't tell you what those roles and responsibilities are in the correct way and give you all the tools that you need, you might not be the best area directors that you can be. And then the district will go downhill and it'll be all of my fault. And no one will like me anymore. And we don't want that to happen. So the one thing that I ask is, I am really big on crowd participation. I thrive off of it. It makes me do a much better job. So when there are times that I ask for volunteers, I want to say, please, I want to see all the hands go up at once. And whoever's not raising their hand is the person that I'll call on. So with that, first question of the day. What do you think your roles and responsibilities are as an area director?
All hands up.
Okay. And we'll go with the gentleman who likes pink. Lewis?
So I think the area roles and responsibilities of area director, I think at a minimum it's 2 site visits per year and 2 club contests per year.
Okay.
But at a maximum, getting involved with the clubs to make sure they excel, and including connecting them with district resources, and maybe getting involved with more frequent site visits as well to build the leadership within the club, working with the exec board, potentially organizing area council meetings, and doing other things. So there's the minimum level, and then there's what more you can do to really achieve success.
Okay, well, we're done. He's covered everything. We can go home now. But he's absolutely correct. Really being engaged with your clubs, not just doing the 2 visits per year, not just doing your 2 contests and thinking you're done with the role. Anybody else? There are some other things, believe it or not. Tommy.
This is from the experience of being the Area 24 director now and seeing other clubs and what's going on. Having, even though you might do more than 1 club, 2 club visits, is having the insight to see where a club might be in trouble or is going to be developing an issue. So I think everyone in this room is going to beat the club. June 30th.
Thank you, Tommy.
Why didn't we do it in January? Why are we now waiting June 1, June 15, whatever this is, June 17, and now we're going, hi, you need some memberships. Hi, did you do your CC? Hi, did you do your advance? What happened in January?
We did talk up Toastmasters.
Yeah, so it's seeing what's down the road and gently getting your club to move gently towards June 30. That's
very nice adjective, gently. Anyone else? Someone who's Becky.
So I think we're reading the clock now, but getting your clubs to distinguish. It's very important. There's a required thing on there. Required membership and to get them to distinguish, which is what we're reading the clock for now. So I have 3 distinguished clubs.
Whoa!
And I revised 1, so it's getting to distinguish now at this time.
Perfect. Anyone else before we move on? Anyone else? You don't have to have been an area director. We've had some experience, people talking, but anyone else like to take a stab? Yes.
I think it's important to understand the culture of the club. So each club, there's kind of the Toastmaster structure, and each club adapts that to the needs of the people. So understanding what is the culture of the club, what are their goals, and how to help them align those goals with Toastmasters.
Perfect. And I'm sorry, what's your name?
Richard Bowley.
Richard, nice to meet you. Okay, so I think the individuals that spoke today kind of covered what's on this list, and I'm going to go into a little bit more detail with you. But the first step, which you're doing right now, is to attend area director training. The second is to attend district executive council meetings. The third, support the District 36 sponsored Toastmaster Leadership Institutes. Area visits, which will be discussed later. Actively monitor and report the health of your clubs to the district, not just 2 times per year. Motivate and encourage your clubs to become distinguished. Area speech contests, which will be discussed a little later this afternoon. And I don't think I heard anyone mention this, and I apologize if I missed it. Help build and support new clubs. And then there's 2 more. This is something that I personally came up with because it's not spoken about a lot, but I wanted to make sure. The purpose of the icebreaker that you guys had this morning was to kind of, even though it was a quick 5 or 10 minutes, it was to get to know each other, to start the process of building the camaraderie with your fellow area directors. And if you think about what this year is going to look like for you all, I will tell you that at some point you will need the support of your fellow area directors. And so you want to be able to make sure that you are supporting them so that they can return the favor to support you. And also you want to be able to support your division director. That doesn't mean that every time someone asks you to do something, you have to say yes to what they're asking you to do, or you have to be at every single event, or you have to attend everything. But what it does mean is it's support in the best way that you can that will make your area director and division team successful. Okay. Why are you attending area director training today? Obviously because you need to learn your role. Area director training is actually a continuous process. I don't know if a lot of you know, but the district executive council meetings are technically considered trainings for you guys. So it's important, and I'll get into it in a moment, but it's important that you stay engaged with your area director training. And then more importantly, we will be able to provide you, the various members of the district, with resources that will help you to become successful. Because if you're successful, the district is successful. Who knows what a DEC meeting is? I said what it was. Did anybody remember? Somebody who's not an experienced area director, does anybody remember what DEC stands for? You'll get a prize. Wow, okay. Go ahead.
Is it District Executive Council?
Very good, very good. And what's the sad part is the prize was going to be the applause, and you guys prematurely beat me to that, but thank you. So what are these DEC meetings? What do? Do we just come and we sit around and we talk about what you talked about with your division director, what you talked about with your clubs? Do we talk about what we talk about, what we're going to talk about when we talk about it? And food. You do have food. So you talk about talking about things, and then you have food at the district executive council meetings. No, actually, these meetings are important because, like I mentioned, these are what are considered your trainings as an area director. This is a time for you to connect with your division director. Some of you may not live in an area where you all can meet on a regular basis. This will be your time to see and connect with one another, connect with the rest of your area team. Update the district on what's going on. There are some people, and I'm just going to call out Tommy, who is very proactive with saying, District Trio, this is my synopsis of what's going on in my area. This is what I'm planning on getting done, and this is what may not be able to happen. Can you get me the resources to make it happen? But other people may not feel as comfortable picking up the phone or sending an email. Guess what? When you're here, this is an opportunity to have that one-on-one time with the trio members or your division director or any other of the resources, such as Sandra Coles-Bell, who's on loan. I think the APR is 50%. She's a 50% APR with her loan. But this is the time that you can actually speak with individuals here, and you can get that one-on-one FaceTime. Also, it keeps you engaged. One of the things that I noticed, I started, like some of you in the room, as an assistant area director, and I came in probably in March. And when I came in, my first deck meeting, and I want to say it was April or March, there was what I thought was a full room of people, of area directors and division directors. But it was really probably, I want to say maybe 3/4 of what you guys are now. When I attended my first area director training, it was much like this. The room was full, pretty much all of the area directors were here. But then what happens is people begin to become less and less engaged. Anna, Tanya, and I want to keep you guys engaged, but it is a two-way street. So we would love it if you share your ideas with us. We will share things with you, but the most important thing is that you are engaged, not just with your area, not just with doing your visits and your reports, but being engaged with the district as a whole. So I want to point this out. How often do we meet? Can somebody read that as if we're in the second grade? Anybody? Kevin?
Third Saturday of every other month.
Can we say that as a group? How often do the DEC meetings occur?
Third Saturday of every other month.
Thank you. So every other month on the third Saturday, unless there is a change where we need to rearrange that date, you may want to pencil in on your calendar that you will be here. The trio understands that life happens and you can't get to every single DEC meeting, and that's okay. But what we are asking of you is that you give us the commitment to attend as many of the DEC meetings as possible. So if you went out last night and you were up until 5 a.m., you can come to a DEC meeting. But if you have a family event, maybe your child is having something, or there's something that you need to get done, you may have to miss a DEC meeting, and that's okay, but we just would like for you to stay engaged. Yes?
Danielle, my apologies, I have those things every other Saturday, every other third Saturday of the month. What about the November Saturday, because that's around the Thanksgiving time period?
That is a perfect question. In November, the wonderful thing about November is, because I believe that's when the DEC meeting would occur, is that that's when we have our district conference. So there will be no DEC meeting in November and no DEC meeting in May. So that just scratched off. So you're only coming to what, 4 or 5 meetings? Once you, how many? 4. 4. So that's just 4 meetings that you have to attend. So should be able to accommodate the district by attending those 4 meetings.
And we're starting, Danielle, because this is July, I don't even know what month it is. This is June, so we're going to be starting in August with the next one.
July. Today is a training.
I see.
Next month is a DEC meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. As an area director, one of the biggest things that you should do is actively monitor the health of your clubs. Now, Glenda's going to really get into the meat of what that means during her presentation today. But what I want to make sure that's covered is area council calls. Does anyone know, you will get a prize, does anyone know what the area council consists of? And you can be a past or current area director. Anne Marie, I saw your hand first.
So your area council is the presidents of each of your clubs, the public relations, the membership chair, or depending on how you want to form your area council, it can be more than just the president, the public relations, or the membership chair. So depends on how you want to form your area council, but at least the president and your public relations from every club within your area needs to be on that council. And you can also include your division director if you want.
Anyone else? Okay. Yes. Sasha?
To add to that,
Oh, Shola. Sorry, I don't have glasses on.
the VP actually is very critical. Yeah. So to me, it's the top 3 of each club: president, VP, VPR. And there will be cases where some of them can't make it, but it's imperative that at least one of them attends the call and disseminates the information to the rest of them.
Great. So one of the things that one of my little bits of wisdom that I would like to share with you all is there may be clubs where the top 3 leaders or anybody who makes up the area council for your clubs are not engaged with the process and they're unresponsive. What I did in my year as an area director, I just invited everybody who was a club officer from each of my clubs. And what you'll find is sometimes it's that treasurer is the one who's the most engaged, that's going to help keep you updated and partner with you as you go through this next year, versus the president or the VPE who may have been voluntold that they were going to be in those positions and they really didn't want the positions. You will have some great presidents, you will have some great VPEs, but I always like to invite all 7 of the officers because it kind of keeps everyone else engaged. Yes, Pamela?
The area council calls, is this a new process or you're actually following, or how long has it been?
So it was probably implemented back in the 70s. No, I don't. I honestly don't know when it started. However, I can say that when I joined Toastmasters in 2008, I was one of those people that kind of got put into the position of being the president automatically, and I was on an area council call. Not every area director does an area council call. For my area, I think we did those in person. I was in a different district then, a neighboring district, but we actually met in person and did like a potluck. Some people prefer to do it by phone. Some people want to meet at a restaurant. Some people want to meet at their house. Some people don't want to meet at all. It's up to you. It's not a requirement, but I can guarantee you, and I'm a regulator, I don't like to use the word guarantee, but I can guarantee you that by consistently communicating with your clubs, you're building a relationship with them, and they are more engaged. They're more likely to reach out to you when they need help, and they are definitely more likely to help you put on your area contests, help you during that process. You also want to check in with your division director on a periodic basis. They may have division council calls with just the area directors where they want to get updates. Sometimes this can happen via email. There's many methods to do it. No one way is the wrong way unless you're not doing it anyway. So definitely check in with your division director. And one of the most important things that I learned as being the club growth director this current year is, as an area director, you want to have a relationship with whoever is your club coach or club mentor. So one of the things that I did this year is each time we had a new club, I sent a welcome email to that new club. And I said, this is your area director, this is your division director, here are the members of the trio, and provided each of the email addresses. And then I also said, here's your new club mentor, so that everybody can have the same information. I believe, I've heard stories of where people didn't know that the mentor was showing up, or the area director was coming and they were the mentor, and they were kind of confused. So I would say, as an area director, you want to be proactive and say, hey, does my club have a coach? Does my club have a mentor? Who are these people? I think that's a fair question. Would you agree? I can't hear. Yeah. Okay, good. I can't hear without my glasses on, sorry. So just a tidbit on that. And then lastly, and I think someone mentioned this, we want to motivate and encourage our clubs to be distinguished. And we should all be familiar with the Distinguished Club Program goals. You have to get 4 CC awards, 1 advanced communicator, 1 more advanced communicator, 1 leadership award, 1 more leadership award, 8 new members, a minimum of 4 club officers trained, and 1 membership dues renewal report, and 1 club officer list submitted on time. Now, the club officer list submitted on time, the area directors this year should have hopefully done this task for you, where they are reaching out to their clubs to make sure that they have submitted the club officer list, so that the incoming club officers get that check mark already on the box for them. They still have to do their membership dues on time, but it helps if the prior area director or the club officers are aware that they need to do this. Another thing that's really important, and where a lot of clubs miss the distinguished status, is they have to have at least 20 members or a net growth of 5 members. So in addition to getting 5 members, you want to make sure you don't lose any members, or you at least stay at 20, and that's very important. How how do we get clubs, and you will get a prize, I promise you. How do we get clubs to kind of think about the Distinguished Club Program? What tasks can they do at the beginning of the year? What forms can they fill out, or plan can they fill out? Yes.
With my club this year, we're actually going to do a club success plan.
Yay! Perfect, and your prize was also the applause. So, one of the things that you want to, club success plans are very important. It literally, if you develop a plan, you are working toward a goal. It's almost like a manual. You know how you have your manual and you want to get your CC by the year end? It's almost like a leadership manual for the club as a whole. We want to hit these targets at the end of the year. Not because we want to hit numbers, because that's the absolute worst thing to do, is just try to get perfect 10 just to say you got perfect 10, but because we organically want to receive the benefits of what Toastmasters has to offer. And the club success plan will help the club get to getting to distinguished status. It helps them to plan. One of the things that I can say is that there is a club in Division E, and I only know that because that's my home division, called Business Oriented Toastmasters. Every year they say we are going to get a perfect 10, and every year they have some of the best speakers and leaders, and they get their perfect 10. Not because they want to hit the numbers, but because they're business oriented and they want to actually receive the benefits of Toastmasters. So that's something to think about. But to even further how to get clubs to distinguished status, there's also an area success plan. At some point, you guys will be receiving a leadership manual which will have an area success plan in there. And I just encourage you to take a look at that area success plan and take a stab at really developing that plan to set some goals for your area. If you miss the goals, life happens, but at least you've established some goals and you've set some goals and some milestones to help get you guys to a successful status for the year. So with that, are there any questions before I hand control over to the next leader? Yes.
I'm going to be the worst questioner in the world.
That's okay. Questions are good.
My club's quick past is we never done a club success plan because it gets confused with all these other plans. And I'm a little selfish and I want my ALB, my Advanced Leadership Bronze. Can we do an area success plan in lieu of a club success plan in order to get the Advanced Leadership Bronze?
The area success plan is for the area director. The club success plan is for the clubs. So, yeah. And they don't have to do it, but what I can tell you guys, one of my biggest regrets as a division director is, and Reynolds can probably attest to this conversation, I never did a division success plan. I don't know how I got President's Distinguished because I didn't set specific goals. And I probably worked some magic behind the scenes. But I didn't set specific goals. So as my peers were all hitting President's Distinguished, I want to say in March or April, once the dues got renewed, I literally didn't hit President's Distinguished until June 30th at probably like midnight. Honestly, I went to sleep thinking I was going to be select distinguished. So I would encourage you, just take a try at it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But it definitely helps you to put yourself on a path to being successful. Yes, ma'am?
Are we going to have incentives this year? I really like them last year.
Yes, we will have incentives, and they will be released after June 30th. We kind of have to wait for this year to wind down, but we wanted you guys to hit the ground running, so we wanted to get you trained before July 1st. Yes?
And for the area success plan, which I'm not familiar with at all, but the club success plan I am, and what I've done in the last couple of years with our club is that I've asked each of our officers to take their role and then to really own that role and to bring to the table what you would like to do with your role. And that helped with getting that plan out the door to the district.
Thank you. Okay. And that's really almost the area success plan. When you take a look at it, you may need to engage your club officers, your area council to help develop that. You may want to engage your division director. And then you can think about, especially if you engage the clubs, what are the clubs bringing to the table, taking it one step higher than the club officer level. All right. Well, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so one of the experiences I had last year was we had our own club success plan, tag one Toastmasters, we are office business. So last year, when I was the president, when we came up with the club success plan, we invited the area director to be part of the officers meeting. So she was also preparing her own area success plan based on what she's feeling in our club success plan. And I had a great suggestion that get commitment from the members, from the officers in advance. I got a commitment, but the follow-up was not easy. People don't follow up. They give commitments, but they don't follow up. My question is, if in an area you might have some nominated presidents. So how do you engage them? Because they're not responding it orally or verbally. I'd say I would like to be at your club success plan or your officers meeting, and I don't get an invite or they're not engaged. How do I?
So, and that's why I speak to inviting or reaching out to all of the officers. Literally for dues renewals, there were clubs where I started with the president, and this is in club growth director role now. I started with the president, I worked my way down all the way to the sergeant at arms, treasurer. Got no response from the club. Becky picked up the phone and didn't say she was from Toastmasters. She just left a message. The guy called her back, and then she was able to get the club renewed. So we have a club that was probably going to be lost. Booz Allen is now going to be renewed. So I think it's really engaging as many people as possible, staying persistent. Krish, if you want tips on how to be persistent, I would encourage you guys to have a conversation with Krish. Krish can get me a demo meeting like no other can. I have people who may not be responsive, and Krish can get it done. So definitely persistence, and sometimes they aren't going to be responsive. And then I'll take one more question because I don't want us to go too far over time.
I'm just wondering, do you all have a process in place? This is my first time in the area. Do you have a process in place where you do a lessons learned and try to find out why some of the clubs aren't responsive, or what's going on with particular clubs to figure out why they aren't participating like you would expect?
Yes, we do. Not so much formally, but I think in each of the roles we do that in some way. So one of the first things that's going to happen is when I hand over the reins to Tanya as Club Growth Director, I'm going to go down the list with her and talk to her about all of the troubled clubs. What she's then going to do is reach out to the division directors and kind of talk to them. And then together, the division directors and Tanya will kind of think of a plan and start to strategize, including the area directors, what can be done. And that may mean calling the clubs, getting coaches assigned, figuring out what it is that the clubs need.
I think one thing I'll just add too is that this year, one of the things we're going to do is at the July deck meeting, we're going to provide a snapshot of all your clubs, just so you have an idea of what you're walking into. Historically, we will try, and I say this, try with the emphasis, to get you the last area visit report for your clubs as well. I'm working with Toastmasters to see how we can get those. But if we don't get you the area visit reports, at the very least, we'll give you a schematic of the clubs you want to keep an eye out for from the jump.
All right, well, thank you guys for indulging me. Thank you for laughing at all of my jokes. Thank you for being engaged. Thank you for questions. Thank you for participating today. And I hope you enjoyed learning about your roles and responsibilities as much as I enjoyed delivering it to you.